And the governor of Nebraska is sending state troopers down to our state to help with the crisis on the border. That action comes on the heels of Governor Greg Abbott's request for aid as part of a pre-existing emergency mutual aid agreement. Governor Abbott and other Republican leaders have also moved $250 million of state funding to be used as part of a down payment to continue building the Trump administration's border wall. 3 News political analyst Dr. Bill Chris wants to remind everyone that everything politicians do is political. So knowing that, he has a lot of questions about the border wall plan.
Politically, it sounds good. Will it happen? In what form will it happen? Will it be effective? Will it be too expensive to justify the expenditure that's being made? You know, the proof is in the pudding and the devil is in the details.
And as we have reported, there's also a donation website that has been set up by the state for the wall.